And what I see is my father standing at attention next to a boom box and a hole in the ground. And I figure that this hole is the perfect place to dump all of our hopes for the good life. Thanks for coming out. So I'm 17 years old. I get home from school, and I see this crock pot on the kitchen counter. I lift the lid, and my face is assaulted by this bland, earthy scent. And what I see is this watery broth with all these different kinds of beans bobbing up and down. And I really hope this isn't what I think it is, but when I look at my sister Steph, she just shakes her head. And I know this is what we're having for dinner tonight. My stepmom, Judy, rolls in and she's like, "It's called 7-bean soup. It's delicious." And then she winks at me like maybe it's not so delicious at all. And all I can think is, how did it come to this? 5 years ago, I was living with my mom and dad in Long Island, but now, 3 houses, 1 divorce, and 2 remarriages later, 1 good and 1 not very good at all, I'm living with my dad, Judy, and stepsister in South Florida. And times are tough, guys. There's a recession going on, Judy's lost her job, and Dad is struggling to string together contracting gigs to make ends meet. I overhear that we only have a budget of $80 a week to feed the entire family for 8 people. And what that means is, at the end of our Sunday night grocery run, we kids, all 6 of us, we only have 80 pseudo Oreos to eat for the entire week. And inevitably, they're gone by Tuesday night. It totally sucks. But Judy sees this as an opportunity. We just gotta learn to be creative, you know? Like Van Gogh is famous for his penny pinching and not cutting off his ear. So in the name of creativity, we gotta eat the beans. But I gotta tell you, I'm not accustomed to beans that don't come from Taco Bell. And the only soup I know is chicken noodle. So I distrust this dish. At dinner, Steph wolfs down her side salad and says, "I'm finished." She's gone. Leslie says she's not hungry. Chris just keeps stirring the soup, perhaps hoping that it'll either thicken or evaporate. Trust me, he does not care which. I announce I have a thing, which is a lie, but when you have a car, there's no time to fact check. And as I'm pouring the soup down the sink, Judy says, "Too bad, it's got a lot of protein, you know." And then she slurps loudly. Now, I've been living with Dad and Judy for a couple of years now with my siblings, but I still feel like a boy without a home. And I think it's because I don't have any real contact with my mom. And no matter how many times Judy signs my birthday card, Mom, I can't even fathom it, let alone feel it. And how can I when my mom thinks I'm going to be president one day and Judy has a completely other profession in mind for me? I think you should consider being a Jesuit priest. As if my commitment to celibacy is open-ended or something. I just want to be understood. The next week rolls around and we go through our litany of austerity dinners. We got Sunday night hash and eggs, Monday night tuna casserole, Tuesday night spaghetti, Wednesday night chicken and rice, or as Judy calls it, chicken a la king. Which sounds fancy, right? And so good, guys. But on Thursday, I go into the kitchen and I see the crock pot, I see the beans. She brought it back. And this time she says, "I need you to eat it." And I hate that word need, but Judy loves it. I need you to do the dishes. I need you to pick up your sister. I need you to change your attitude. As if. But that night at dinner, the kids close ranks. Steph finds a hair in her soup. It was probably her own, but that renders it inedible. Leslie gags on the soup and the beans dribble down her chin and neck and land in a pile next to her bowl. Chris starts to cry. And I try to be diplomatic. No one likes this stuff, Judy. But my dad immediately undercuts me. "I do." Thanks, Dad. We sit there for 2 hours in an uncomfortable silence, the occasional clanking of spoons against bowls, until again, the soup goes down the sink. That weekend, Dad and I have a sit down. Dad, Judy's being totally unfair. Well, sorry you feel that way, son. As if the pitiable thing isn't my complaint, but the idea of unfairness generally. Dad, you gotta do something about these beans. They're disgusting. Hey, that's my wife you're talking about there. Which is a non-argument, but I tell you, it would have been a lot more persuasive had his wife been my mother. But here we are. Dad's on Team Judy all the way. The next Thursday rolls around, it's more beans, more crock pot, only this time, nobody shows up at the dinner table. The following Thursday, if you're counting, this is 4 Thursdays now, I tiptoe into the kitchen hoping not to see that thing which cannot be unseen. But when I open my eyes, it's the freaking crock pot again. And I just can't handle this anymore. So I take out my Velcro wallet, rip it open, but all I have inside is $1, which isn't even enough for a run to Taco Bell. But then, in that moment, from the outside, I hear a sound. Which I believe is reveille. I'm not too smart on these things because we're not a military family. But Judy leans in and she's like, oh, I wonder what that could be. Why don't you kids go and check it out? Okay, Judy. But, I'll do anything to put some distance between me and those beans. So I gather my sister and my brothers, and we go outside. And what I see is my father standing at attention next to a boom box and a hole in the ground. And I figure that this hole is the perfect place to dump all of our hopes for the good life. But then I hear Judy. We are gathered here today to celebrate the short and problematic life of the bean soup, which as of now, we are going to send to the hereafter. And then my dad pushes play on the boombox and we hear taps. Bum, 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 bum. You know that one, right? And I'm stunned because this is just the stupid kind of stunt my mom would have pulled. And I love it. Judy kneels down and she asks Chris, hey, do you want to help me pour this into the ground? And he's like, hell yeah. And so together they grab a side of the crock pot and pour. And all I can think is that maybe Judy does love us, just a little bit. She turns to me and asks if I want to say any words, but I'm so dumbstruck. All I can manage is thank you. Because now I can see a way that if she can keep this up, maybe someday I can love her a little bit too. 30 years later, on my wedding day, it's a long time, I had the distinct privilege of dancing with my mom and my other mom, who to this day has had the wisdom not to resurrect that dreaded bean soup. Thank you.